Hey, are you a Karen? And what is a Karen? Well, we're going to talk about it when we get back. I'm CLM II for Style with Power, the channel that helps empower men through style.
Okay.
Hey, how are you? Happy Monday. And you know, we just had an outstanding day last Friday, which was called Juneteenth. And we're going to talk a little bit about Juneteenth, but the main topic of our show today is about the word Karen and white women who call the authorities on black men. But before we get into that, hey, if you're into videos that talks about style, that talks about fashion, that talks about empowerment, and that talks about mindset, well, listen, I need you to go down, hit that subscribe button, and hit the little notification bell so you'll know every time we upload a video. Well, as you can see, I have on my green today. I love my green. Let me take off these sunglasses. There you go. Put that right down here. So today we're going to have a discussion about the word Karen. And I'll try to figure out, why do they use the word Karen when they're talking about white women who seems to call the police or call authorities or just act like they're better than everybody, or have what they call white privilege, or as some of my colleagues will say, the caucasity of these women who believes that they can just say and do whatever they want because they are white women. So where did the word Karen, how did Karen get stuck with them? So I happened to read an article, and I put the link of the article in the description so you can go and read this article. Fantastic article, and it just talks about how the name Karen stuck, and they've had different names. They've had Becky, they've had Caroline, they've had Tiffany, but the article seems to have mentioned that in the 60s, in the mid 60s, the name Karen was at that time the most popular name of young white babies. And in the 60s, 80% of America was white. So we have a lot of middle-aged people my age, because I was born in the 60s, and a lot of them white, and a lot of them women, and a lot of them have the name Karen because that was the most popular name in 1965. So that name seems to have stuck. So what I've done is I put a link of that article in the description, and I would advise you to go and read that article, because it actually kind of puts all of it together, how it all came to fruition that social media has chosen the word Karen. Our first Karen story is, of course, one of the most famous Karen stories. It's about a young white lady by the name of Amy Cooper. And I talked about this in a previous video. As a matter of fact, you can see the link to that video right up here. And she was walking her dog in Central Park, unleashed. And there was a birder, a person who watches birds, was in Central Park. And he pointed out to her that she needed to leash her dog in that certain part of Central Park. And he showed her the sign, and she just got incensed. And she just went crazy, and she began to call the police. Luckily, this birder, which was a black man, and his last name is also Cooper, Hanging Mr. Cooper. You remember that television series? Wow. So his sister happened to be with him, and his sister took out her phone, and she started to videotape this young.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
This video has gone viral, and you're about to see why. In a part of Central Park known as the Ramble, this woman called New York police on a man who asked her to obey the posted signs and keep her dog on a leash.
Ma'am, dogs in the Ramble have to be leashed at all times. And she was actually standing right next to the sign that says dogs in the Ramble have to be leashed at all times.
The Ramble is a wildlife habitat popular with bird watchers like Chris Cooper. Dogs disturb the birds, which is why he was asking her to follow the rules. She refused.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
My thinking was I can sort of capitulate to this racial intimidation, or I can just do what I'm doing and continue recording.
He kept recording and captured this.
There is an African-American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And my... I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately.
Her false report to 911 didn't get the response she was hoping for. Chris Cooper's sister uploaded the video. Someone identified the woman as Amy Cooper, a vice president at Franklin Templeton. The company issued this statement tonight on Twitter, saying they do not condone racism of any kind, and their employee has been put on administrative leave.
She has since apologized. Now, what about the dog, the Cocker Spaniel you see in the video struggling while she inexplicably pulls him onto his hind legs by the collar? Well, his name is Henry. He was a rescue dog, and the rescue organization saw the video too, and tonight it is reporting that she has surrendered the dog back to them.
It just became a big firestorm. It was all over the news, and it just went crazy. The young lady got fired from her job. Of course, she was embarrassed, and that was one of the most famous Karens ever. So I actually have the link to that story in the description, and you can go see that. I also have the video, which I put a link in up here. You can go check out that video. It's just incredible. So that's our first Karen story. Our second Karen story happens to be of a couple in San Francisco who happened to be walking down the street and seeing a gentleman painting Black Lives Matter in the front of his home. But unbeknownst to them, they figured that he was some type of vandal and he was committed a crime because they didn't believe that he lived in that home. The homeowner's name is James Wanillo, and he was out there, and this is his property, and he has a right to do with his property as he wants. And he's painting Black Lives Matter, and they just happened to stop him and question who he was and why was he doing this and why was he committing this crime. And they happened to say that they knew the homeowner. Well, it was a shock to him because he was the homeowner and he had never seen them before. Well, unfortunately, they found out that they were wrong. This was big on social media. And the young lady, her name is Lisa Alexander. She was a CEO of a company which fired her. Her partner, Robert Larkin, he worked for a financial company. They fired him. So, once again, we had the Karen story of a white woman who is claiming this privilege of being able to step in and be a hero and do what they want to do. And once again, they were wrong. And luckily, we do have video of these things, because without video, it would be the white woman's word against any person of color's word. And of course, we know how those always turn out. It never turns out well for people of color. So that was an outstanding story. So, what does this all mean? Well, to my white people out there who may watch this, I should say to you that we have to stop this. We have to stop this this white privilege mentality, as we say, the caucasity of you thinking that you're better than everyone else and you know what's best for everyone, and everyone should listen to you and bow down to you. It's just ridiculous. We live in a country where we're all free. We live in a country where we all should have equal rights. And for you to believe that you have the right to say and do whatever you want, and those things have really caused the death of a lot of people of color, has to stop. It just has to stop. So now those people are called Karens. And right now we're in a time where the police are being targeted, and the police are being targeted and they're asked to be called on these bogus phone calls. So that's why it's imperative that the lawmakers, make it a crime when you call the police for these bogus incidents, right? It doesn't make sense for our police officers to risk their lives and get into confrontations because someone believes that they have the right to do whatever they want, even if it means breaking the law. All right, so I got links in the description on these stories, and we definitely want to make sure that we call these people out and we show that they do not have the right to say and do whatever they want just because of the color of their skin, the caucasity of it all. Well, last Friday was Juneteenth, and sometimes it's called Emancipation Day. Other times it's called Freedom Day. And basically, what's it all about? Okay, so in June 19th of 1865, the slaves in Texas were finally notified that they were free. They were emancipated. And the actual law, Emancipation Proclamation, went into effect January 1st, 1863. So these slaves did not know that they were free until a year and a half later. So because they were finally set free and they were the last people in the United States to be set free, that has been called Juneteenth, Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, where all slaves were now, or all enslaved people were now considered to be free people. So we just had it on Friday, and what's so great about it is that 47 states out of 50, including the region of Washington, D.C., recognize Juneteenth as a special day or holiday. And 4 of those states actually made it a paid holiday. A paid holiday, which means you have the day off, but you still get paid, which is great. And those 4 states, of course, is Texas. And Texas was the first state. After that, we had Virginia, New York, and Pennsylvania. So those are the 4 states that actually recognize it as a paid day off holiday, which is fantastic. And what we as a people are trying to do is get it to be a national holiday, where now everyone has that day off and everyone can celebrate Juneteenth. So in the African American culture, Juneteenth is our Independence Day. That's our true Independence Day. The last enslaved person was freed on June 19th, 1865. So that's Juneteenth. So I actually have a link for an article in the description where you can read about Juneteenth and all of the states that recognize it. And we hope that they make it a national holiday so that not only will we celebrate, but the people that who are for us and understand our contribution to this country will celebrate that with us. Well, that's our show for this week, and I will see you guys next Monday.